بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ذلك من أنباء الغيب نوحيه إليك وما كنت لديهم إذ أجمعوا أمرهم وهم يمكرون وما أكثر الناس ولو حرصت بمؤمنين وما تسألهم عليه من أجر إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين صدق الله العظيم. Respected brothers and my dear young friends, we concluded the story of Yusuf alayhi salam last week with the last ayat of the whole narrative, that Yusuf alayhi salam supplicates to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asks for a noble ending and a blessed death on Islam. Historical narrations suggest that Yusuf alayhi salam lived for a period of approximately 20 years after the demise and the death of his father Yaqub alayhi salam. And he was a very loved, honorable person in Egypt. When his time for death came, he informed the people that bury me in Egypt, and if in future Bani Israel decide to move as a whole nation, then take me with you. So anyway, after Yusuf salam passed away, Allama Qurtubi rahmatullahi mentions that as he passed away, everybody wanted him to be buried in their city, in their town, because of his noble character, the barakat that he had within him, the barakat that he would bring. So every person hoped, wished that Yusuf salam is buried in their city or village, to the extent that it was close that they would fall into quarrels and disagreement. However, they decided that let's bury him in the river Nile, because where the river Nile branches out into Egypt, let's bury him there, because this river Nile is the main source of water, and it is the main source of irrigation for all the farms, crops in Egypt. So if we bury him there, then his barakat will flow throughout Egypt. So anyway, they buried him in Egypt. Then the time of Musa salam came, and the torch and the persecution of Bani Israel increased to a time where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Musa salam, فَأَسْرِ بِعِبَادِكَ لَيْلًا إِنَّكُمْ مُتَّبَعُونَ, that in the morning, at night, leave before dawn, leave Egypt, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed him. So anyway, in narrations we find out that once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was traveling, and he happened to pass a desert or a place which was deserted, and he met a Bedouin, and the Bedouin showed a lot of hospitality, a lot of good manners, akhlaq. So Rasulullah was a person who would always repay favors. This was his habit. If somebody gave him a gift, then he would gift another one in return. If somebody did anything good to him, he'd make sure that he'd do something back in return. So Rasulullah told the Bedouin that if you happen to pass by Medina, then make sure you come by me. So anyway, the person, the Arabi, happened to pass by Medina, and he came to see Rasulullah. Rasulullah was happy with the way he behaved and the way he presented himself before Rasulullah the last time. So Rasulullah asked him, Salni hajatak, ask me. What do you want? Ask me. So the Bedouin said, Naqatan, I want a she-camel so I can ride on. Ask me. He said, I want a sheep that I can milk for my family. So Rasulullah asked him twice, but ask me. And this Bedouin was asking for worldly things, and not even something great in the world, basic things. So Rasulullah turned to the Sahabas and he said that ajiza or just an takuna mithla ajuzi bani Israel, you've not even managed to be like the old lady of Bani Israel. Never mind the mujahideen of Bani Israel, and never mind the ulama of Bani Israel. Even the old lady, you've fallen short of even imitating the old lady of Bani Israel. The Sahabas were sat there. So they asked Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, wa ma ajuzu Bani Israel? Ya Rasulullah, who's this old lady of Bani Israel you're talking about? Because this is something which was not known to them. This is from amongst the knowledge of the unseen. Because Rasulullah, it was years before. So Rasulullah said that Inna Musa arada yasira bi Bani Israel. Musa salam decided to migrate with Bani Israel because of the persecution of Fir'aun. And some of us say it was just before dawn break, just before the break of dawn, Subha Sadiq, Musa salam, the night before, he got a message down to all the households of Bani Israel. So when Yaqub salam came with his family, there was approximately between 80 and 90 people. And when Musa salam is leaving with Bani Israel, Mufassirin say approximately 650 to 675,000 people. Musa salam. This was how Bani Israel grew. They became so many. So they passed the message on that tomorrow we're going to leave. Because it will have to be all under covers. It had to be all quietly so that Fir'aun doesn't find out. When they left, Musa salam was trying to get out of Egypt, but he couldn't find a way. The way had become confused upon him. So Musa salam turned to the ulama of Bani Israel and he asked them, what's happening? How come we can't find the way out? So he said that we have heard from our previous people that when Yusuf salam was about to die, أخذ مواثيق الله ألا نخرج من المصر حتى ننقل عظامه. That Yusuf salam, before he passed away, he took an oath from the people around them and he took a pledge, the Bani Israel, that if you ever decide or if you ever have to leave for circumstances, you have to leave Egypt, make sure you take my body with you. Who knows where the body is? So the ulama said the only person that knows where Yusuf salam is buried is a ajuz, is an old lady. Is an old lady. So Musa salam said, bring her. And she was brought. And Musa salam asked her that where is the qabr of Yusuf salam? So she said, La, I'm not going to tell you. La, wallahi la afalu. Hatta tu'tini mas'alak or hikmat mahkamah. I will not tell you until you accept my condition. Musa said, what condition do you have? She said, Akuna ma'aka fil jannah or murafaqataka fil jannah. I want to be with you in Jannah. فَكَرِهَ ذَلِكَ. Musa said, dislike this. What? Just for tell me where Yusuf and Qabr is, you want to be with Anbiya salam in Jannah? Or that I'm a Nabi, I don't have, it's not in my disposal to tell you that you'll be next to me in Jannah. That's Allah's job, that's Allah's duty. You're asking too much. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a wahi to Musa straight away. A'tiha mas'ala or a'tiha mahkama. Give her. Tell her. Laka ma tas'al. Tell her that you got what you wanted. So Musa said, okay. If you want to be the Nabi, then fair enough. Tell us where the qabr is. So she said, she pointed towards a place where there was water gathered. Can't even pour on the side of the Nile or something. And she said, move this water. And that water was moved out. When the water was moved out, then a qabr came out. And in the qabr, they digged out and a coffin was there. And that was the coffin of Yusuf. So Musa took it. As soon as they raised the coffin, all of a sudden, The road out of Egypt was as though it was daylight. Halak is night, but it just became bright. So Rasulullah at that moment he said this story. This is how Yusuf alayhi's qabr moved from Egypt to Palestine. Right now it's when people say this what's amongst people, that there is a place called Al-Khalil, Hebron, which I mentioned last time, and there's a masjid there. And in that masjid there are 4 qabrs. One of Yusuf salam, Yaqub salam, Ishaq salam, and Ibrahim salam. All 4 are buried there. So the question is, how did Yusuf salam get from Egypt to Misr, from Egypt to Palestine? This is how it happened. And Rasulullah grasped the moment that a person, he's in front of Rasulullah, and Rasulullah, you don't get these chances often. And Rasulullah asking him that, ask me, what do you want? And what is he asking for? He's asking for a shika. And this is not the moment to ask for a shika. This is a moment to ask for Jannah. It's a moment for asking. That's why we're being told that in life, have ala himmat, have high objectives, ambitions, have high wishes. Rasulullah said that when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِذَا سَلْتُمُ اللَّهَ فَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ الْأَعْلَى. When you seek Jannah, don't just say Allah wants Jannah. Ask for Firdaus al-A'la, the greatest Jannah, the highest Jannah. And when a person asks for the highest Jannah, and he puts effort coupled with the high ambitions, Allah's tawfiq will also be there. Rabi ibn Ka'ab radiyallahu anhu, a Qarib of Rasulullah, Qarib and Samsi was 13 years old. And he would see to Rasulullah's needs, and he would pour the water for Rasulullah, for wudu. So one day he was pouring water, and you can imagine, when a person, this is how you gain du'as. We are very accustomed to just saying, Dua Maya, Dua Maya. Dua is not gained by doing this. Yes, they might remember you. But if you seriously want dua, you have to be there at the time of need. You have to do khidmat. This is how you get duas. You say that ye jo kuch sara, whatever you see, ye buzurgon ki chappal uthane ki barkat se. Galiban Hazrat Mawsha Hazrat Hakim Akhtar Sahib you say as well. That all this is the barakat of khidmat of the Akabiris, khidmat of our seniors. So when a person puts the correct effort and he has the right ambitions, and ambitions in terms of akhirat, not dunyawi. The person could have asked for dunyawi things, but Rasulullah used to take benefit, and he used to take the opportunity in nurturing the Sahaba's mind in every instance. So he saw this. Look, this person is being given the opportunity to ask. I'm so happy with him because he hosted us. He was so hospitable. He showed such good hospitality towards us. I'm asking him, what's he asking for? He's asking for a shikaman. So straight Rasulullah nurtured the Sahabas. But in these scenarios, in these instances where you get a chance to ask, then don't ask for petty things. Ask for great things. Ask for high things. And put effort. And have inspirations. Have aspirations for high things. And inshallah, with the effort of Allah, with the effort and the tawfiq of Allah, you will gain it. So anyway, from this we can understand that as a believer, we should always have high thoughts, good thoughts, and especially in terms of those things that keep Allah happy, and in terms of akhirah. That I want to be close to Allah. I want to be close to Anbiya sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to be doing those things that on the day of Qiyamah, Allah becomes happy. And how many of these things? I want to go Jannat. Yes, you can go to Jannat, but there's a basic Jannat, and even the basic Jannat is very good, very high, but there's Jannatul Firdaus. So why don't we ask for Jannatul Firdaus? So anyway, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is how Yusuf passed away. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after this, the whole narrative finishes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings in some ayats of insight, and he says, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْغَيْبِ نُوحِي إِلَيْكَ. He says that this narrative, this story of Yusuf is from the accounts of the unseen. It's from ghaib. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ أَجْمَعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ وَهُمْ يَمْكُرُونَ. That we inspired you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with this knowledge of the unseen. And وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ, and you were not with them, with the brothers of Yusuf sallallahu إِذْ أَجْمَعُوا أَمْرَهُم, when they collectively resolved, and when they collectively made an intention regarding their affairs. In what? To get rid of Yusuf sallallahu وَهُمْ يَمْكُرُونَ, and neither were you there when they plotted. So in the remaining ayats, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting us and the entire ummah to take heed and take lessons from the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we didn't send this revelation to you if we didn't send this revelation to you, this whole story of Yusuf salam and what happened with his siblings and what their brothers plotted about, then how did this story reach you? Because surely you were not present when this whole thing happened. Yet you are precisely, with such detail, narrating the whole incident. And you are talking about it. You are mentioning the story as though you are eyewitness. You are saying the story of Yusuf salam as though you were there when they were plotting, as though you were there when they threw him in the well, as though you were there when the whole episode of the jail, and when he came out of the jail, and when the brothers came back. You are narrating this story as though you were there. Yet, and in fact, you are narrating it in such a manner, with such great detail, that in fact the Jews and the Christians, they don't even have that much detail in their Torah, and neither in the Bible, in the Injil and in the Torah and the Bible. So the question is, their story in the Bible and the Injil is incomplete, and the story you've just mentioned is so complete and so precise, and they all know that there are no scholars in Makkah. Makkah was not a city of scholars that can teach. Neither are you literate that you can read books yourself. You are illiterate, ummi, so you can't read books. Neither did you travel out of Makkah where you can learn from somebody else. And neither did the Jews or the Christians tell you about this story. So when you can't learn from anybody, when you can't study yourself because you could not read or write, when there was no scholars in Makkah, and when the Jews and Christians were not even part of this, how come you just mentioned a story which is more detailed and more precise than what they have? How did you get this story? This story could not have reached you but only through revelation and wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when wahi and revelations comes to a person, then that person is a Nabi. So this ayat is proving that the Risalat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's proving that Rasulullah is truly a Nabi of Allah Azza wa Jal, and this is the only reason why he can narrate such a story, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has narrated to him when there was no other means where he could get this story from. There was no teacher here. The history has no information of a teacher teaching Rasulullah or a scholar or any books that he had read. In fact, this was direct revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That, however, despite the many factors proving that you are the Rasul, despite this being so open that you are a Rasul and only a Rasul can get this, yet most people will not accept Iman. وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ. Majority of the people will not accept Iman, even though you eagerly desire. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now is telling Rasulullah that you you delivered and you narrated the whole story of Yusuf alayhi salam. And why do you deliver it and why do you narrate it? I mentioned right at the beginning that the Jews or the Quraysh of Makkah came to Rasulullah to test him. That how did, number one, Bani Israel end up in Egypt when Yaqub alayhi salam was in Sham? And number two, what's the story of Yusuf alayhi salam? They came to ask Rasulullah this question to test him, to see if he's a Nabi. So now, naturally, when somebody asks you a question and you give them an answer which is complete, precise, and which puts all their doubts to sleep, which gets rid of any confusion, then what's the next thing you expect from them? You expect that they believe you. You accept that they trust you. You accept that they think you as being truthful. So Rasulullah, after answering their questions, after putting all their doubts to sleep, yet they did not accept Iman. The Quraysh of Makkah did not accept Iman, and neither did the Jews accept Iman. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that although they know, they will not accept Iman. So now the question is, if they know, why are they not accepting Iman? When they came to ask you and you give them a complete answer, why are they not accepting Iman? Because when they came to ask you, they came to ask you for a reason. What reason was it? That let's see if he knows. If he knows, there's a Nabi, but we're not going to believe him. But if he doesn't know, then what are we going to do? We're going to go around telling the whole world, and we're going to amplify it to the whole world, and we're going to announce it to the whole world, and we're going to tell everybody else that he's not a true Nabi. Because if he was a true Nabi, he would have known the story of Yusuf salam, and he would have been able to answer our questions. But because he can't answer our questions, that means revelation is not coming to him. But because they saw that yes, the answers, the revelation came, And he has given the correct answer, and he has given a precise, detailed story of Yusuf salam, but they were on takabbur. They were arrogant. So they did not accept Iman. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that although you have great desire, and this is a desire of any person, that when you answer somebody, in return, you want them to embrace your message. In return, you want them to think positive of you. In return, you want them to believe what you say and come to practically do what you say to them. Yet they are not doing this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is letting Rasulullah know that we know that you are very eager. We know that you have a lot of passion inside you. That the mankind comes onto Hidayat. But remember, Akthar Nas, majority of the people will not accept Iman, although you have great desire for them. وَمَا تَسْأَلُهُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ, and you are not asking any reward from them. In huwa illa dhikrul alamin. This Quran is but guidance, advice for the universe. That sometimes a person might think that by propagating, Rasul's mission of propagating was to get people close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was no money or worldly gains for him. There was nothing in terms of worldly gains for him. His absolute objective of tabligh was so people can get close to Allah Azza wa Jal. People can connect to Allah Azza wa Jal. And in return, they will get Jannat. Allah will get happy. But whatever Allah is going to give him, Allah will give Rasulullah directly. It's not that if you bring Iman for every person that brings Iman up, Rasulullah will get 1,000 pounds. No. So Allah subhanahu is saying that your job, your responsibility is just to guide them. You've done your duty. If they don't accept, it's their problem. Your duty is to propagate, and you're doing it solely for their benefit. There is no gain for you in this dunya. By Rasulullah guiding somebody, there is no worldly gain for him. Yes, akhir Allah will reward him. But in dunya, he doesn't get no money. He doesn't get presents. He doesn't get gifts for doing this. You can't say, oh, remember I guided you, so look, you got Jannat now, so give me 1,000 pounds. Because of me, you came and you started praying namaz, and now inshallah you'll die in Iman, you'll get Jannah, so give me 1,000 pounds. There was no such thing as this. That's why all the Anbiya said, throughout the Quran, you hear, that they weren't asking for any reward, they weren't asking for any gain, they didn't want anything in return. So them being eager for you to accept Iman was not so they get some money in return. Sometimes a person does something in dunya, there's a salesperson, and you go to these sales people, or sometimes you get a phone call, telesales, or sometimes you get somebody coming to your house knocking for a boiler grant, etc. And what do? They're exerting effort. Why? Persuading you, buy it. But are they doing it because they think that if you buy the boiler, or if you buy this particular product, or if you buy this deal on the phone, that you will make profit, or you will be in benefit? Is that why they do it? More than that, rather they are in benefit. Because for every phone call they make, and for every person, every customer they make, they get 100 pounds, for example. Or for every boiler they sell, they get 100 pounds. So for them there's gain. That's why they are exerting effort. Allah SWT is saying that you are so desirable, yet you're not getting any gain. Because the reward is in the hereafter. So مَا تَسْأَلُهُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. That you're not earning any monetary gains, or you're not getting any shares from them. In fact, your job is to pass on the message. Your responsibility is to do tabligh. And in huwa illa dhikrun lil alamin. This Quran is a means of guidance, a means of advice. So carry on reciting it to them. Carry on explaining it to them. And if they accept the call of deen, if they accept the call of Iman, Islam, then it's for their own benefit. And if they don't accept it, then they are putting themselves at harm. That's why for us, for people, all those people who are engrossed, who are busy in tabligh, whatever form it is, whether it's a muballigh, whether it's a mudarris, whether it's a mashayikh, whoever it is that is doing khidmat of deen, we have to remember that in this world, we will not be rewarded, and we don't ask for any reward in terms of money. Whatever we get will be there hereafter. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not reward us on results. Allah will not reward us on results. The reward will be on effort. Because if you look at reward on results, and Nuh salam propagated deen for 950 years. How many people accepted Iman? Just over 80. 950 years and only 80. The reward will not be for the 80. The reward will be for the effort of 950 years of tabligh. That's why when this is eh, this is for us not to become hopeless. We go out gush every day at night. It's raining, we go out for gush, and nobody's going to masjid. Don't worry, you carrying doing your responsibility. Every day you go for gush, whether somebody comes in the masjid because of that, or whether nobody comes, whether 50 people come or nobody comes, you will get your reward. And your reward is based on effort. Just like a person, just like a surgeon working in the hospital, and he has 10 patients. And each patient he sees from morning to evening, he sees each patient and he gives each patient medicine. Medicine, this one, medicine, this one, medicine, this one, medicine, one. Every patient goes home and they all come back the next day or after a week and the medicine has not worked for anybody. When the end of the month comes, will the doctor get paid or will they say no? Will the NHS pay the doctor or will they say no, sorry, you brought no results, all 10 people are still ill, we're not going to pay you? Or will they pay you? They will pay you. Why? The payment and the wage and the salary is not based on result, it's based on effort. And he done his effort. He came to work at 9 o'clock, he stayed at 5 o'clock, he worked within the diameters and the perimeters of NHS. He did not go beyond that. He gave the correct medicine. As long as he's done that, as long as he's done his job, NHS will pay him. In the same way, as long as all those people who are engrossed in khidmat of deen, whether he's a teacher, he's teaching maktab, he's teaching madrasa, he's teaching in dalu, he's giving nasiyat, but the students are not taking heed. The students are not listening. Don't become despondent. I'm going to leave this. Morning to evening, these guys are not learning. These guys are not studying. These guys are not listening. You can't put your effort in. As long as you put your effort, even if your whole life, you put effort, and only a few people accepted your call and came on deen, you will not be rewarded for the few. You will be rewarded for your whole life of effort. The whole life you done khidmat of deen in terms of tabligh. You went out gush, you went jamaat, you done this, you done that. But only 1 or 2 people answered you. And only 1 or 2 people started coming for namaz. The rest nobody listened to you. On the day of Qiyamah, you will not be rewarded for 2 people, you will be rewarded for your whole life in exerting effort. So in this last week, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Rasulullah that you're not asking them for any ajr. There is no money, there is no worldly gain for you. And in fact, you are calling them and the benefit is theirs. And if they don't listen to you, then the harm is theirs. So, continue reciting, continue propagating the ayats of the Quran. And if they come, then it's their own benefit and you'll be rewarding the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the correct understanding, grant us the tawfiq, and it is an ayat for us that don't become despondent. I've been doing this much work for this long and no change in life. People not listening to me. People not bothered. Our job is to do tabligh. We used to say to the brothers of tabligh that our job is to do tabligh. Tabligh karte raho. Whether they listen or they don't listen, that's not your job. Your job is to do tabligh. You'll be rewarded for that. So continue doing it. And if a person is a teacher, mudarris, khidmat anywhere, continue doing khidmat and just think that whether they listen or they don't listen, I'm going to get my reward anyway. Exert effort. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the correct understanding. Subhanallah, subhanallah, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhanallah, rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al mursalin, walhamdulillah.